just tell me who you are, what you do, what you're selling here.
Hello, my name is Joel Connor. Do I look at you or the microphone?
Look at the camera.
I mean the camera.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll start again. Hello, my name is Joel Connor, and I have a book called Revelations that I created. It's on the table. It's the first in a mini series of three. It basically is the end time scenario book, apocalyptic in nature. It deals with a uprising power in a dictator who kind of comes and fools people with like a two-faced kind of scenario, and basically rules with an iron fist. And in the end of the world is coming, a large part because of what he's doing. There is a small rebellion headed by two witnesses, two prophets, and basically they head up the rebellion against him. They're kind of called into their position. They don't own it as their own until kind of throughout the book you'll see that they stumble into that calling, and eventually in the next book we'll come to next couple books actually and see what will happen if they can counteract his plans or if they'll fall by the wayside like everybody else.
You have some really beautiful art here. Is this supposed to be somewhat resemblance to the famous Obama poster?
Yeah,
It's a different color scheme, obviously, but
the whole thing, yeah, I've been explaining it all day. It's really kind of interesting backstory because that's basically a dictator who's the villain in the story. He's run for office and now people have elected him, and so he went through the whole process of a campaign and being elected. So for the book's been out for a few years. So since I started it, I always wanted to do a kind of a guerrilla campaign with postings and posters involving him, and the whole visual style for the second book is kind of propaganda and Russian constructivism. It's very pulling from that old style and that genre and look. So when the elections came out just this past year, and I was thinking I was going to do something, but I didn't know what. And then when Shepard did this piece about Obama, it was like totally that style. And I was like, I guess I can't really pass up on that opportunity because Obama's was hope and progress. And this dictator is basically the opposite of that. So I did a flip side of the whole series. And it's been some interesting conversation with people coming by who were like offended at first. And I kind of explained where it came from. And that Shepard, even though I took a cue from him, it totally played into the where the origin of that style came from with the propaganda and my own kind of riff on that.
so is it in a American? Is it in a separate world? Is it real life?
It's totally real life, grounded in things that are happening today. It's more of a global kind of tell, and I'm not really explaining it very well, but it takes place. The first book is predominantly in America, and over the next two books it'll shift to Europe and Israel. It basically ends up in Israel, and that whole Jerusalem area is like where it culminates. So.
Can you show me some of the book?
Okay, yeah.
Over here.
So that's kind of the map of like seeing where it takes place in the first one. I'm plotting. It's kind of funny because since this is basically a apocalyptic book, and I know a lot of people were saying California was gonna drift into the ocean in the earthquake, but these were actually based on old maps that I found before they knew the real topography, and they thought that California was an island. And I don't see a lot of books like graphic novels do this kind of a thing. I read the Chronicles of Narnia right before I actually finalized this book, and C.S. Lewis does a cool thing where he introduces all the cast of characters before, so you can reference it and you can understand who's on what side and what characters go by what name. So I thought that would be helpful for it. So there's just a prologue with the devastated city in the backdrop. And a lot of the pages are the style that I did it in. It was kind of me figuring out what I wanted to do and how my style lent itself to a graphic novel. Because I never did, this is my first book. So a lot of the things were very moody and dark. I was big on keeping the pages sketchy. Like the line work is really loose. And I always wanted to show like the underdrawings. So nothing's really too refined.
What are these slightly human-esque characters?
They're some might say they're kind of mutated by the atmosphere and all the nuclear stuff that's going on. So these characters are human, but in the future there's a lot of adverse things with chemical warfare and a lot of things gene like manipulation and stuff going on. So let's flip through a little faster. Kind of throughout the book, the style, I wouldn't say changes, but I kind of get more comfortable with how I'm working with stuff. The first couple of spreads and the first 2 chapters, it's really dark, and because it's mostly underground, and they kind of work their way into a flashback sequence in chapter 2. And let's see, so that gets into more sepias, and you can see more of the drawing and the artwork. It's a little clearer to see. And as it goes into throughout the chapter, it's a flashback, and then it goes to the prison scene, and then it returns to the same color palette, and it gets dark again for a while. And then in the 3rd chapter, that's when I think I kind of settle into more the direction. Sorry, that the 3rd book's going in, where I start using more colors, and I think I get more comfortable with how I'm using the layouts, how they're structured and built, where I bring in, I guess they're a little bit more dynamic and playing with poses and stuff. Ooh. And there's some pinups in the back, and like, so the first book has been a really learning curve for me. And the second book, I'm kind of more comfortable settling in the actual process of how the storyboards interact with everything in the manuscript being already pretty tight. And this one, everything was kind of up in the air, and like as I was stumbling through it, I kind of was figuring out things as I went along. But it set up basically set up how I wanted to work and be more efficient for the second. So it's coming along pretty well. I've been off and on it, and I'm hoping to have it done towards the end of this year. Anything else?
Where can people pick up the book?
Yeah, it's right now it's limited release. Its distribution is mostly on the West Coast. I'm out there in California, and you can get it online. The main site for the book is the Red R, just like TheRedR.com. And then my name is Jarrell Connor, and that's another website, JerrellConner.com. All right, is there anything else?
Thank you much.
All right, I hope I didn't like flub too much stuff on there.
No, it's fine.
So I usually have more stuff at conventions, but I had to streamline it for the flight.
Yeah, especially now that bags are costing